Hey gorgeous, welcome. It is about May 6th and I have plenty of things to do outside. Today I have been working on getting my raised beds ready, filling them up with a little bit more soil, deciding where I want these things. All of these plants that you see here are the plants that I grew from seed for my own garden. None of these were grown for the seedling sale, which the seedling sale only have like a couple of things back there left. I had been hardening off these guys for like 7 days or so. The last 3 nights they have been kept outside. They're good to go. Like they're completely good to go. I am so not worried about these guys being hurt by the overnight temperatures here in central Indiana by now. The 10-day forecast looks amazing. Again, I'm not really worried about anything right now other than just getting these guys in the ground. I do want to make sure to show you some things that are blooming right now. Everything is looking amazing. We have had plenty of rain here in central Indiana, so things are just pushing. Some of my backroots really need pruning. So just let me show you a couple of things. These are the beds that I built earlier in the year. Well, my husband built them and I just kind of, help him put them over here. And they are doing great, you guys. I have a bunch of cool flowers here growing. Some things are doing great. Some others are struggling. Let me show you a little bit closer. The feverfew that I have here is just, my gosh, it's just bursting out. I am really excited to see how the feverfew does because this is the first time that I grow it. The status was looking a little bit red in the beginning when I moved it out here, but I guess that is expected of the leaves. And by now, I mean, it's just looking so beautiful next to the straw flowers. Everything is just looking so great. I am really excited to see how these guys develop, when they bloom, how they like it here in this bed. The bed that is next to them is going to be specifically for dahlias. I do still have to work about sorting all the dahlias that I have, deciding where I want to put them, deciding what varieties I want to put next to each other and all of that good stuff. That is going to take me a minute because I do have a lot of dahlia tubers, a lot of potted dahlias, and I have also a lot of cuttings. So I am definitely going to have to spend some time on that. But this bed right here is where I have my ranunculus. Now earlier in the year I started all of these ranunculus indoors, and I have different varieties here, but what I want to show you is the difference in the ranunculus that I started early. I pre-sprout the corms, and then once they were sprouted, I move them into their own 4-inch container so they could keep on growing for a few weeks. And later on, I started these guys right here. These ranunculus were just pre-sprouted and they were kind of getting big in the container, to be honest. I definitely think the next year, if I just pre-sprout to transplant, it's just going to be for about 10 days. I think that 2 weeks, 3 weeks is definitely too long for pre-sprouting because they get so big. But these guys, you can tell they're showing some buds and they're definitely behind compared to the ranunculus that I started over here. I do have a lot of thoughts on growing ranunculus for my cut flower roadside stand that I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to be growing them next year, to be honest with you. It is May 6th and I still don't even have the roadside stand built. The seedling sale just took a lot of time from me, a lot of time and energy from me. So the way that the seedling sale went for me was amazing, and I really want to do that next year. But I don't know that I can put my time and energy in also growing cool flowers for opening in April or May if I'm doing the seedling sale, because it's just a lot of work, and I actually really enjoy growing the plants for selling. So I think that growing cool flowers for early harvest for my roadside stand is just going to have to not be a thing for me, and I'm completely okay with that. But my thoughts on cool flowers is going to be that I am going to grow varieties that maybe start producing blooms late May, beginning of June, just to kind of give me a late start in the, you know, selling bouquets thing. So that is how I think I can make it work for my circumstances. I know that a lot of people agree on spring being the best time for selling flowers, but it's not the best time for me for the things that I am doing. So I am trying to make this work so that I don't get burned out, so that I actually still enjoy the things that I'm doing, which I mean I love. But my gosh, look at these ranunculus, you guys. This is the first time that I grew ranunculus. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago when I went all out, and I think that I was way too late in the season to plant, and I think I was starting to get them out in May. And I mean, these guys were planted here in March. They were already big plants. I showed you a video on how I did that. They're really close together. I think that if I ever decide to do this again, ranunculus that is, they can definitely be a lot closer together. These guys are about, I don't know, maybe 6-7 inches apart from each other. I can definitely do 4 inches, and I know they'll still be okay. I already cut a few of these guys. I definitely need to come here and do a bunch of harvests if I want more of these flowers. My plan for this bed is that once these ranunculus are done blooming, I am going to get them out. I am going to reset the bed. I am going to plant a bunch of zinnias. This will be my second succession of zinnias. I already have soil blocks full of zinnias. Those are going to go in another bed on the back, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But these guys are doing amazing. Now my stock, which is what I have on the next bed, is not doing too hot, and I think it's because of the amount of water that we have had here in Indiana. As soon as I transplanted those stock over there, which was the same time that I did these guys, we had rain often, and I think that's why they're showing a little bit of the yellowish on the leaves. That is a major weed right there. That weed is thriving. But let me show you all of the stock, you guys. Let me get you a close-up. This right here is how majority of all of the stock that I have planted here looks like, and I'm hoping that they recuperate. I mean, there isn't really that much that I can do other than covering with plastic, but that might bring a little too much heat, which they don't actually like. So I don't know. This is also the first time that I am growing stock, and well, the plants are not dying. They're definitely struggling a little bit, but I'm not giving up on them just quite yet. It's trash day, so you're probably hearing a lot of that happening. At this time, at the beginning of May, is when my what is this plant called? Spirea. At this time is when the spirea are starting to bloom. You can see the cascading gorgeousness that is happening here. I mean, it's amazing. But also my hedge of lilacs, which are so tall already, you guys, so tall. These right here are Korean lilacs. They're supposed to be about 4 feet wide and 4 feet tall. These guys are, I'm 5'3", so these guys are definitely up there. They're loving it here. These guys have been here for quite a few years, and the fragrance is just so intoxicating. I don't really do much with this lilac hedge. I honestly don't even give them fertilizer. They just don't need them. I mean, they don't need them. What I do, and this is what I do right after they start dying with the blooms, which will be here in about 3 or 4 weeks or so, what I do is that I prune them hard, and I don't really worry about the height of them as much as the width, because I don't really want these guys coming all over onto the boxwood hedge, which I also need to prune. So I come here and I literally just pick all the way from the inside of the shrub. I try to get the branches that are coming out so that these guys go higher instead of going wider. And on the other side, honestly, I don't even worry, because the neighbors get to enjoy all of this gorgeousness. It's amazing. And if some of you are wondering, well, you didn't do the roadside stand, so what happened to the tulips? Well, the tulips, came up and they grew and they did amazing. I actually gave a couple of bouquets to my neighbors because I have so many tulips in raised beds. Normally I don't do this many, but last year I thought I'm going to sell in April a bunch of tulips and it's going to be amazing, and it didn't happen. So what I'm going to be doing is that probably today, oh, here's the sunflower. Probably today I'm going to be coming here and I am just going to be carefully dig up all of these tulips. No, I am not keeping the bulbs, because if I want to keep these bulbs, I will have to wait until all of this dies out, and it's not even a sure thing that they will come back next year. So all of this stuff, if I had a compost pile, will go in a compost pile, but I don't. So I need to make room for this. And as you notice, this right here is where I had my green stacks. I had 3 green stacks here last year, and now I don't have any of the green stacks here because I wanted to make more room for more beds. Yes, slowly taking over all of the back alley. I don't need to park on the back of my house anyway. So let me show you how this place is looking like. So because I wanted to have more room for growing more cut flowers, I needed more raised beds. And if you're wondering why I am not doing in-ground here, is because all of this area is full of gravel. There is no way that I can grow something successfully without having to fight without having to dig every single piece of gravel. This used to be the driveway, we think, of the house before we move in, and it is pretty much just gravel on top of gravel. So not the best place for me to grow anything. And what I did is that I just kind of followed the lines of the other beds that I had to just create more raised beds. And that's how this place is looking like. I am so freaking excited. Just this morning I finished putting all of that soil there, so things are looking really good. And I am ready to plant. So lots of things happening here today. Really, I am sorting the tomatoes that I have, deciding which varieties I want to have here. I am sorting my dahlias, and I'm just trying to decide what goes where, because I also have the space at the community garden. I am probably not going to start using until a couple of weeks from now, because I went yesterday and it was covered in weeds. And I am not talking about little weeds that you can pull. It was a complete thickness of grass and weeds. So I put a tarp over everything. I'm going to give it a couple of weeks so that I can use maybe use some compost to top it, or I'll decide what to do then. I'm not worried about that part right now. What I want to do is just cover everything that I have here in my house, and then whatever I don't have room for, it's just going to go over there. So thank you for being here, you guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Hopefully I answer some of your questions. I know some of you guys have been wondering about the roadside stand. It is going to happen, just not quite yet. Thank you for being here, you guys, and I'll see you in the next time.